Community Business Development Corporations, Business Financing, Support, and Advice. The CBDC Onboarding Course, Table of Contents, Part 1, Introduction, Developing an Onboarding Plan. Part 2, Designing a Hiring Process, Designing a Training Plan. Part 3, Designing Employee Orientation, Managing Employee Onboarding. Part 4, Review, Feedback, and Continuous Improvement, Conclusion. Introduction. This section covers what onboarding is, the importance of having an onboarding plan, and how an onboarding plan can impact your business's productivity, operations, employee turnover, and ultimately your bottom line. This section covers A. What is onboarding? B. What is the CBDC onboarding course? C. Why should we have an onboarding plan? And D. What value does this add to my business? What is onboarding? Onboarding is a process of bringing a new person into your organization and integrating them effectively into your organization's operations and culture. The onboarding process runs from the time you hire or engage a new employee or team member until they're able to competently perform their job duties. This process could be shortened to a few hours, but in reality, it can take weeks, months, or even be monitored and managed for up to a year. In the CBDC onboarding course, we'll cover 6 topics: how to develop an onboarding plan, how to design a hiring process, how to design a training plan, how to design orientation, how to manage onboarding, and how to review and improve your onboarding plan. Throughout this course, we'll be using business language, referring to the participants in the onboarding process as businesses, companies, managers, and employees. However, onboarding can and should be done in nonprofits and volunteer organizations, and these concepts can apply to a variety of team building and intake situations. What is the CBDC onboarding course? The CBDC onboarding course is designed to help small business owners and fellow nonprofit organizations understand the importance of onboarding to their organizations and employee well-being, and to learn how to conduct successful onboarding. The course is divided into 4 parts, each containing 2 sections. We'll be covering an introduction and the development of an onboarding plan in Part 1. In Part 2, we'll go over designing a hiring process and designing a training plan. Designing employee orientation and managing employee onboarding will be covered in Part 3. And Part 4 will lay out how to review your onboarding process and conclude the course with some final takeaways. In each of the 6 lessons, you'll find written notes explaining the key concepts of the lesson and a brief video discussing the concepts. If you prefer to learn through audio or video. Why should we have an onboarding plan? Onboarding plans are important because they benefit employees and businesses. Good onboarding affects employee performance, well-being, and retention, which can improve the company's bottom line. Onboarding is important for businesses because it allows them to make a great first impression on new employees, increasing employee engagement. Good employee engagement, training, and management all help reduce the cost and inefficiency of employee turnover. Effectively planned and executed training, as outlined in onboarding, will also reduce the likelihood of costly mistakes made by an untrained or poorly trained employee. Good training also increases the likelihood of improved performance, efficiency, and cooperation, making operations run more smoothly and quickly. What value does this add to my business? Businesses frequently ask themselves how they can attract and retain talented employees. Employers want to know how they can reduce employee turnover and create an engaged workforce, especially in times when the labor market is particularly competitive and finding staff becomes more challenging. Being good at managing employees becomes incredibly important to retaining staff and building successful teams. There's a saying that employees don't leave companies, they leave managers, pointing toward the importance of management to make a business a place where people thrive and want to stay. Good management, and more importantly, leadership skills, begin by being thoughtful and deliberate in your approach to managing employees and demonstrating you care about their well-being and professional development by showing you're willing to spend time and effort to be a good boss. These messages can be conveyed from the very beginning of the hiring process, which is why designing a hiring process is lesson 2 of this course. And they can become apparent to new employees by the time you take to structure a successful onboarding for them. That's why having a well-designed onboarding plan is so critical, because it's your first impression to your new employee and it sets the stage for your employee-employer relationship. It allows you to show the value you place on communication, safety, training, and culture at your company. A properly done onboarding process ensures important training is done properly and that the processes and procedures are taught in a consistent and standardized fashion, important steps to developing and maintaining quality. Summary. In this section of the CBDC onboarding course, we've covered what onboarding is, the contents of this course, why businesses should have an onboarding plan, and the value onboarding adds to a business.